In this episode, you'll discover 3 erg hacks that fix the technique faults most rowers carry from the machine onto the water. We've already done sweep hacks and sculling hacks. Today it's the erg, the most accessible training tool in rowing and the one where bad habits are most easily reinforced. A piece of paper, a bungee cord and a crate. That's all you need for your hacks. One for your connection, one for your catch, and one for your slide. Let's go.
Feel the grip of the oar handle, smooth yet firm in your hands. Taste the salt of your own sweat and the occasional splash of water. It's all part of the journey. Welcome to another episode of Faster Masters Rowing Radio. Each week, our host, Masters rowing coach Rebecca Caro, dives deep into the world of Masters rowing. Whether you're on the water or in the gym, join us to become a faster master. Let's go rowing.
Well, hello, and it's great to be back again. We all know the erg is unforgiving, but that's exactly why it's useful. Every fault shows up. But the erg is also where faults get repeated thousands of times until they become ingrained. And I today have got 3 hacks for you to interrupt the fault before it becomes the habit. So let's kick off with the first one. Now, this is for foot connection. You find on the erg that people often lose connection through the drive, particularly at the finish, because your toes rise and they come away from the foot stretcher and your pressure shifts into your heels. And this reduces the power transfer and makes a weak and very disconnected finish. And it really is a very common fault. People solve it by hauling on the foot straps, tightening them so tight that you can't move your feet. But actually, that's not solving the problem, because when you move into the boat, your shoes are generally not that tight. And when you lose connection with the foot stretcher, you're no longer pushing the boat forwards. Same really applies to the erg, because the handle, whether it's in the erg or in the boat, is not connected to the boat. Your seat slides, so it's not a fixed connection. Your feet are the only connection to the boat. So what's the hack? Take a banknote. Now, if you're someone who doesn't have banknotes anymore, of course, a piece of paper will do. But I first saw this demonstrated with a £10 note and put it under the toes of the athlete. If their foot comes away from the foot stretcher at the end of the drive, the banknote falls off. And of course, as a coach, you can have a bet with your athletes. I'll give you this £10 note if it doesn't drop out while you're rowing. The feedback's immediate. It's unmistakable. And it helps to teach this whole foot pressure. You want the whole of the sole of your foot pushing on the foot stretcher at the finish. At the catch, it's just the ball of your foot, but you should still be able to hold that pound note underneath your toes. Of course, any thin object will use a piece of paper, a folded receipt, perhaps even a credit card. In fact, you could get the athlete to give you their credit card. That would be interesting. Anyway, try it just for a warm-up. 10 strokes, feel the connection. And if the piece of paper moves, then you know when in the drive you're losing the connection. And remember to try it separately for both feet, because people can sometimes be a little bit asymmetric. The next one is about your catch position. One of the challenges on the erg is that it's quite easy to over-compress at the catch. That is that your shins go forward of your ankles and your knees are over your toes. So this can cause your back to collapse a little bit, or overreaching, or at minimum, it's not a very strong position for taking the load of the flywheel at the catch. And it's really very common. Overcompressed rowers don't feel it because they've been doing it for years. And you particularly find with athletes who don't have very big musculature in their calves that stops them getting a really tight thigh against shin compression position at the catch. So what's the hack? Take a bungee cord, or alternatively, just a piece of electrical tape, and wrap it around the rail at the correct catch position so that the wheels of the seat either butt up against it or go to roll over it if it's a piece of tape when they go past shins vertical. So it's a gentle physical reminder. It's not going to jar you. It doesn't matter if the wheels go over the tape, but it is quite noticeable. And it helps to train your body to stop at the correct catch position without really any conscious effort. So how to do it? Use a mirror or a friend to check your catch position, or a coach, take a photograph, and then position the bungee. The thing about a bungee is you can slide it up and down to get the right place. And then just do some low rate rowing, rate 18, rate 20, few minutes, and notice how you can feel when you get to the correct place. And then, of course, it quite quickly starts to feel natural. Now, our third hack is about slide control. Rushing the slide is a common and very persistent fault, particularly on the erg. You find that people roll forwards quite quickly, pause, and then change direction. And of course, our goal is to arrive at the catch and engage the chain with the flywheel and then quite smoothly move away from that position. Stopping at the catch isn't great. In the boat, it's awful because it causes the mass of the rower as a load to head towards the stern and makes the stern dip into the water. And it often is caused by blades skying at the catch. And then the rower will try and get a really good grip on the water, usually by using their shoulders and shoulder lifting, which does give you a good grip feeling. But unfortunately, what it also does is it means you then can't use your backswing later on in the power phase sequence. So the trouble is that on the erg, the rail slopes downwards. Now, you know this because when the erg's at rest and you're not using it, the seat is next to the footstretcher. So there's a gentle gradient there. And so that downhillness makes rushing perhaps feel a bit more natural. It actually is also the case in a rowing boat, although I think the gradient may be a little different. If you look at your slides, underneath each one is usually a tapered wedge of wood. And that taper is what allows you to feel that there's a little bit of gravity assisting you rolling forwards. Now, what are the hacks? The hack that I'd like you to do is to lift up the front leg of the erg. Put it on a crate, put it on a step. If you've got things like, aerobics class step platforms, those are great. A beer crate is quite high, a milk crate, maybe an old Encyclopedia Britannica. No one has yellow pages nowadays, but you get the idea. You want to raise the front leg 10 to 15 centimeters. In extremis, of course, you can go up more than that. But the incline means gravity works against a rush recovery now. Coming forward fast becomes harder. And so raising that front leg just a little bit and just try a short, steady row just so that you can feel the difference. Don't recommend really using this for long and intense pieces, but note whether your catch alters when you change direction, when you've got that front leg raised up, because what you notice is that you have to hold yourself paused at the catch and gravity is now working away from you. It'll tend to make you want to roll back away from the flywheel. And so that many people find that their direction change is more obvious. And of course, if you can hold your form and keep a good kinetic chain connection from your feet through to the handle, when your seat moves maybe 2 centimeters, the handle should also move 2 centimeters. And so you start to make the drive phase more aligned with the change of direction that you can now feel quite obviously. So there we are. We've now got 3 erg hacks to join the ones we've done in previous episodes, which were sweep hacks and sculling hacks. The first one is the paper under your toe for the foot connection. The second is the bungee for your catch position. And the third is raising the front leg for slide control. 3 hacks, all free or nearly free, and targeting faults that transfer directly into your skills on the water. I hope they're useful. Till next time. Bye-bye.
we are part of the RowingChat podcast network. Please tell your fellow rowers about the show. If you've learned just one helpful thing from today's episode, please consider supporting the show for as little as $1 per month by visiting fastermastersrowing.com/podcast.